I recently heard one of the kindest things I've ever heard from a client. This is Brian with Summit Trek, and welcome to Field Notes. He reminded me recently of an early conversation we'd had in our coaching experience. I'd come into his office, maybe the second or third meeting, and using appreciative inquiry, because that's what coaches do, I'd quickly determined the 3 or 4 main issues that he was facing. And I was beginning to excavate each one, determine what the root problem was, and determine one simple small step we could make forward in order to move the needle on that very difficult challenge in their work and in their life. And as he described each of the 4, I started to determine paths or way out, or get to understandings of how those things might change, because there isn't a problem, no matter how significant it feels, that hasn't already been solved 100 times by other people. So as we excavated each one, he quickly and convincingly explained to me that he believed that none of those things could change. And then he stood up, and he said, I started to walk toward the door, and I turned back to him and I said, if none of your problems are believed by you solvable, then let's quit wasting my time and your company's money. And he said in that moment he realized that he had been living a little bit of a victim life, that he had determined, made agreements with the fact that none of his problems would ever change. One thing I know for sure, whatever problem you're facing has a cause, has roots, and has steps forward in order to change it. But regardless of how big or small it is, the one thing I can assure you is, if you believe it can't change,